I would like to wish everyone a very happy International Women's Day.
March 8th, International Women's Day, is important for Indigenous women because this is an opportunity for Indigenous women voices to be heard. And this is a chance where everybody around the world will listen, perhaps to what Indigenous women can say.
This day is a day to protest and to promote still their rights to get at the level they wish to. So this is an important day that for those women in the country where they can celebrate their achievement is the kind of empowerment for the country where women are still oppressed and still need to promote their roles. So this is an important day to remember, to get encouragement and to get to empower Indigenous women as part of International Women's Day movement.
So this International Women is very important to how to together with the Indigenous people, especially for women Indigenous, so can give the solidarity to them.
It's the International Day of all women, and it is important to show our solidarity with other women in the global scope.
I'm very happy to be able to celebrate International Women's Day as an Indigenous person. I think it is a very important day for us Indigenous women because it is an opportunity for us to highlight the work of women among Indigenous community because we also are also part of a movement of bringing Indigenous people and bringing up the status of Indigenous people here in Malaysia.
International Women's Day is important for Indigenous women because it's a time that we celebrate our achievements, our success stories, we share with the larger communities in the world, and this is the time that we all come together, and this gives occasion to share our stories to the larger world.
For us here in the Cordillera, we are organizing Indigenous women in their communities to be able to empower them to be visible, to be part of decision making, to participate in wider activities and actions that will address their issues and concerns. So, for example, in a community affected by a mining project, then there are women's organizations that are being set up and being trained on how to do campaigns, how to speak up more in the public, and also how to express or articulate their concerns about the mining project. Because projects have specific or particular impacts on Indigenous women. They displace them from their lands, which Indigenous women need for production, for example, and also they have particular impacts on in the house or in the home, where Indigenous women are mainly responsible for the welfare of the family. And so if these destructive projects come in, then Indigenous women are mainly responsible for seeing to it that their family is protected.
Gender equality in our country context, especially for Indigenous women, we've noticed that Indigenous women in our country has a kind of double barrier. First, socially, second is culturally. They have a barrier to overcome and to become as a woman leadership. So we use different approach to work together with them to empower them.
First, doing the organizing, and through organizing, we are doing the advocacy and campaign of the issue of women from the local community and in the national level. So this is very important in amplifying the issue encountered by the women in the local communities, especially on their asserting their rights, and they can speak on their issues confronting with them.
And for us in PACOS, we have worked with women, especially Indigenous women in community, and we have a lot of women Indigenous leaders who have now become village heads, and that is one of our big success. We also have our Indigenous leader who has become leaders in the government.
Because of our small activities, what we do at grassroots level, at district and state and country level, all this has resulted as a women to unite, women to come together, and we are coming as a larger network, and which is strengthening from within, and also we are connecting with the larger other networks from other regions, from other countries. So it is a time that we are coming together and forming a larger network.
So media perspective is very important, so you can become bridge between vulnerable people and state and country, so they can know that our state, our politicals, our government know that the women indigenous people need help from us to get their rights. They can get more space to speak out in media, because hopefully media also not make discrimination between indigenous people, especially women indigenous, with then government or political people. Important thing that capacity building for them is important, and education for them is very important, so they can feel we can achieve our objective, our vision.
It is better to continue the capacity building of the women, so that not only few women will come out to speak about their situation, about the issues encountered in their communities. So capacity building is very important. The education and the skills training is important.
I think it's necessary to recognize the indigenous knowledge that indigenous women have. For example, their knowledge about resource management, their knowledge about food, their knowledge about educating the children and transmitting traditional knowledge to the next generation. These are roles that indigenous women play in the home and in the community that should be recognized, supported, and given greater appreciation and voice, so that others may learn from them.
AIPP stands for Gender Equality to Better Balance for a Better World. AIPP has been promoting women's rights and also women's leadership, and this has allowed us to have more and more access to the genius of women. And that's why we reckon that women is a force when we're talking about changing the world for the better.